Welcome to the Rundown, everybody. We're very excited on Yahoo Sports to announce a new show in partnership with thepostgame.com. I am hanging out today with Victor Chi, managing editor of thepostgame.com, J.R. Jackson, senior producer for the Young Turks, and David Katz, founder of thepostgame.com. I'm Jason Rubin. We're excited to bring you our first story. Kevin Durant has challenged one-on-one somebody for his All-Star spot. Anybody who was snubbed from the All-Star game, he released the comments earlier this week. You can come on, take him one-on-one to see who can beat Kevin Durant for his spot. Now, it was probably just trash talking. I don't think he's actually being too serious about this. But the question for discussion becomes, is there any All-Star snubs that didn't make the team that could actually beat Kevin Durant for his spot? All right, so let's take a look at some of these All-Star snubs that we can mention here. Let's start with the Los Angeles Clippers center, DeAndre Jordan, who is not featured in this year's All-Sar game, one of the biggest snubs. All right, let's move forward. Let's take a look at Dirk Nowitzki, who's having one of his off seasons, only shooting 47% from the field, a notorious 50% or more shooter. All right, what about Draymond Green, the heart and soul of the Golden State Warriors? That guy plays a lot of heart. Let's take a look at some of his B-roll that we got for you here. And what about last year's NBA Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, who is putting together a hell of a season so far and will eventually, of course, be an All-Star. And lastly, before Draymond Green was tearing it up at Michigan State, Zach Randolph-Zebo, who's now on the second in the Western Conference team, Memphis Grizzlies. Let's take a look at some of his B-roll that we got for you. Victor, we'll start with you, man. What do you think?
I wish he were serious about this because everybody says, the NBA All-Star game has lost some luster. There's no pizzazz to it anymore. I wish somebody shows up at Madison Square Garden and comes out onto the floor right before the game and says, all right, it's on. You wanted the one-on-one? We're doing it right now. That type of spontaneity, that type of improv is really what captivates fans, especially now. A lot of things happen on social media. You do like a flash mob. That could be like a one-on-one mob. You know, these guys lining up to get a piece of Kevin Durant at the Garden. People be going crazy for that. So right. I wish he were serious, and if I were one of those other players who felt like I was snubbed, I'd do what I could, show up and, I don't want to say ambush him, but ambush him.
I'm a little surprised and happy that Kevin Durant even has this much, puts this much importance on it. I know everybody wants to be an All-Star. It's a good thing. You're like former All-Star or this All-Star. You get the title, it's good for your career, I guess. But really, I didn't think they cared that much. You know, there's the snubs and I want to get in, but a lot of times these guys go, oh, good. I've had this ankle issue. I get to rest this week. You know, you hear more about how many players get to rest during the All-Star break than you hear about guys like, oh, clamoring to get in. It's, again, I think it's because of the luster you said it's lost a little bit. But I'm just happy this guy wants to be in that bad to say something that's outrageous.
The fact of the matter is I can give you 300 million reasons why he will never do this, and that's the 10-year contract he just signed with Nike. Let's be honest, this is about the shoes, this is about the shoe companies, and he will be out there, and there's no chance that he's going to do anything to diminish his star. That said, if you've ever played pickup basketball up on 125th Street or down on West 4th Street, there are probably 50 guys who could go out there and who are one-on-one gurus who could beat Kevin Durant in a one-on-one game. No joke. There is tremendous talent out there when it comes to pure one-on-one. But no one's taking anything away from this guy. He is a tremendous offensive and defensive player. He's one of the best players in the NBA. But in terms of a one-on-one game, there are tons of guys who just know how to play street ball who could beat him in a ridiculous one-on-one game.
It's an entirely different game in itself. And actually, one of the players that he wasn't even an All-Star snub. He wasn't even close to making the All-Star team. But I think Jamal Crawford, who is the type of player who grew up playing those pickup games, as most of these guys did. But if you've seen his, and one mixtapes from back in the day, they're unbelievable what he can do. But in terms of the players who were snubbed, now Damian Lillard, DeMarcus Cousins were able to get the sneak-in vote, or whatever you want to call it, after Kobe Bryant's shoulder injury that doesn't exist, his shoulder that doesn't exist anymore. And for DeMarcus Cousins, I forgot who else went down. But DeAndre Jordan, any of these guys, like DeAndre Jordan, I want to throw out Gordon Hayward. Do you think any of these guys have a chance to beat Kevin Durant one-on-one?
They don't. They don't. That's why he said it. He knows. He's a freak. He has the skill of a guard. He has, of course, the size of a center, which centers are, 7-footer is no longer big enough to be a center these days. I don't know how that happens. Centers used to be 6'10", you know? Now they're 7'1" and they're playing swingman positions, playing the 3. So the fact this guy can do a little bit of everything on the floor, I think is why he threw that out there. He can handle the ball. He can obviously shoot. And obviously he has some post-up maneuvers. I'm trying to see someone. You threw out names like DeAndre Jordan. He's big. He can get rebounds. He's all that stuff, but he can't handle the ball. He can't shoot. We know that. So there's aspects of the game that everyone else has that are probably better than what Durant could do, because that's their one thing. But he can do all of them great.
My question is, whose rules are we playing with? Because at my house back in the day in Baltimore, three-pointers counted as three, inside counted for a different number. You get one of these guards out there who can just rain threes and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and his winner
to make it happen.
A different number than 1 or 2? Like
It'll be 1 or 2.
1.5?
It'll be one or two. Okay. It depends on who you're playing. If I wanted to make sure that my outside shot counted more, we'd make the inside game 1.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's home rules.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, so it would be Kevin Durant's rules if it's his challenge.
Right.
Or Nike's if they're sponsoring the challenge, of course. So yeah, well, when it comes to these one-on-one matchups, you know, we talked about how it's a different game entirely. And the one thing I need to tangent into, the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan one-on-one. Many people claim Michael Jordan could not beat LeBron James one-on-one because it's a different game, because LeBron James' physical size. But you put him on a 5-on-5, even a 3-on-3, certain players make other players better. Obviously, you're talking about 2 of the greatest NBA players of all time. But that's the exact point here. So you truly, David believes here, anybody from the Street Ballers, New York pickup games, Chicago pickup games, could beat
I'm
Kevin
not
Durant
saying anybody, but I'm
Just the
saying
top
there
guys.
is skill out there that we never see, that is not playing in the NBA for whatever the reason is, that in a game of one-on-one, which is crazy moves and drives to the basket and some trick shots or some super long-range jumpers, there's some guys in one game that could possibly beat a guy like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a tremendous team player, and I also say LeBron James, who is the best player in the NBA, there are some people who probably could beat him one-on-one. He is not invincible as a one-on-one player, but who's a better offensive and defensive player, who's a team player, who makes everyone around him better? You don't really see that in one-on-one. One-on-one is simply about, do I have a few moves that I can use to get to the game, to get to the basket, to shoot a long-range shot, to score points? And there is tremendous basketball talent out there that just doesn't end up in the NBA.
Yeah. The Euro step could be deadly on a one-on-one game. Guys, do you agree, disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Who do you think could beat Kevin Durant one-on-one? If anybody, do you agree with David, Victor, JR, myself? Who knows? Don't forget to subscribe to TYT Sports. Make sure to check out thepostgame.com for awesome content from everything from sneakers to Kevin Durant challenges, covering all sports. We'll see you next time.